swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash with a silver hat about his head and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
You know what I like to do? Just follow me on this one.
What it do, nation? Man, Black Friday, what a game. The Raiders laid it all on the line. Blood, sweat, and tears. Whether you're team tank, whether you're just win, baby, commitment to excellence, whether, you had to be standing up cheering, whether it was win or lose, your blood had to be pumping. Great game, great performance all around until the last 30 seconds. Damn. Well, there's always next week, right? Let's get into it. Shout out everybody. Shout out my guy Lawrence, always pulling up. Welcome. Man, what a week. We were this far. I feel like I'm starting out every single week saying this far. No, that's not the size of yeah, but we are that close every single week. And it's starting to hurt, right? More and more. But, the gift that keeps on giving, we are in the process of giving gifts, giving games, whether it's yardage, whether it's yak yardage. We've been cutting back on the running yards, but everything else, penalties, giving away first downs on penalties. We are definitely in the season of giving, and it's been all season, right? Just giving games away. At some point you have to be like, this team is not that bad. How do we keep losing? Well, I've said it over and over again. Personnel decisions. And we seen this week, right? Aiden O'Connell, the statue, can't move in the pocket, has no pocket presence, has no deep arm accuracy, comes in, lights it up, tears up the stage, and shows everybody why the cerebral assassin, Aiden O'Connell, should have been the starting quarterback at the beginning of the season. There was no doubt in my mind. There was no doubt in many, many Raider fans' mind. But a lot of people jumped on the Minshew Mania bandwagon. It didn't turn out good for Minshew. It didn't turn out good for Luke Getsy. And we will wait and see how it turns out for AP, right? Shout out Raider Ryan. What is good? But man, let's talk about it. What do y'all think? What are your thoughts? Was it bad coaching? I mean, the refs, I don't even want to get into. I've watched football my whole entire life. I've said this a million times on this show. You should know my age by now. It's pushing 50. Very, very close. It's around the corner. And I've never, ever seen a false start call or a signaled false start be changed to a play that you can decline ever in my life. So, man, that's nasty. All the rumors about how the refs play for the Chiefs didn't look good on the NFL. It didn't look good on the whole referee organization, establishment, whatever they have, union, whatever they call it. Does not look good for the referee union. Does not look good on the refs. Definitely does not look good on the NFL. We haven't, heard anything about it, but I mean, what can they do? We take a L. It was just bad all around, whether it be coaching, refereeing, the center, the guard tapping him, the quarterback not looking. It was just, the Raiders raidering. So, what do y'all think? What are your thoughts on the game? Did you like the way we played? Jason Lockwood was good. Do y'all think what? Never seen Carr play that tough against the Chiefs. I've never seen any Raider quarterback, other than maybe Rich Gannon in a long, long time that I can remember play like that against the Chiefs. And since you're speaking of that, let's look this up. So, Aiden O'Connell, right? The statue, the man with no accuracy, no arm, can't throw on the run, has no pocket presence. All the hoopla, will never be a starter in the NFL. So, versus the Chiefs this year, Aiden O'Connell, we know, 2 touchdowns, 344 yards. That is better than Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins, Justin Herbert, our own, ex-own, Derek Carr, Jake Hayner, Brock Purdy, Gardner Minshew II. Ritter don't count. He threw 1 pass. Baker Mayfield, Bo Nix, Josh Allen, and Mr. Young from Carolina. What do all these quarterbacks have in common? Nothing. Except they all were outdone by Aiden O'Connell versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Not only did he outdo all those quarterbacks that have played the Chiefs, but most of those teams have had their offensive coordinator for a year. Aiden O'Connell has had 4, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 offensive coordinators, 4 different people calling plays in less than 1 season, not even 17 games. But y'all are still willing to kick the man to the curb and not give him a chance to prove he could be the guy for this team is absolutely wild. Just wild to me. I can't fathom it. I can't. But let's even go farther. So, break it down. Lamar Jackson had 273 yards, average 6.7 yards per catch, right? Joe Burrow, 258, 7.2 yards per catch. Kirk Cousins, 230, 7.9 yards per catch. Justin Herbert, 179 yards, 6.6 yards per catch. Derek Carr, 165, 5.9. Brock Purdy, 212, 6.8. Gardner Minshew, 209, 7 yards a catch. Baker Mayfield, 200 yards, 6.5. Bo Nix, some say rookie of the year, right? 215 yards, 7.2 a catch. Josh Allen, a lot of people are talking about MVP. Drafted in the first round. You got to have a first round quarterback in this league. His numbers, 262, 6.6 yards. Bryce Young, 263, 7.5. Aiden O'Connell, 340 yards, 2 tutties, 9.7 yards a catch. And we will stop with that. Touchdowns. Aiden O'Connell is the only one to throw for 3 touchdowns versus the Chiefs this year. If you go back to last year, it's still Aiden O'Connell. Now, did Aiden O'Connell get lucky? Did Aiden O'Connell, just get a fire lit under his ass and become not a statue? Because let's not forget, he did run for a first down. I do believe was, 10, 11 yards? I don't know. I think we were second and something, right? It was called back for a holding. Maybe it was 1st and 10. I don't know. But the man has shown every time he gets a chance that the kid can ball, bro. He can ball. He can read defenses. And I've said this a million times. If you give AOC time, he's gonna drop dimes. Just give him time in the pocket. It don't have to be 8 seconds. It don't have to be 7, 6, or even 5. If you give that man 3 or 4 seconds, he's gonna pick you apart. If you give him time with no pressure where he don't have to worry about it, and even with pressure, he'll take the hit, he'll step up in the pocket. And it's wild that Raider fans can just look at this kid and be like, he's not it. He's not it. He's not it. But let's talk more about some other shit. All right, let's get into this. What we got here? Never seen card play. I did that. Gannon did for sure. Oh, yeah, we know Gannon did. Legit illegal shift my ass. Okay, let's stop right there. Where is this legal shift? I will do film study on Thursday like I always do. And I don't know how much of the, you can see on what I have on the recordings I got or the tape I got, but we will see if there's any illegal shift, any motion. I know the fact that Brock Bowers was over here doing this, trying to get people to go back. Whoever the receiver was, I think it was Jacoby on the outside. I don't know where he was lined up. If he was lined up off the line, on the line, it doesn't really show him from the angle that I had on the screen and from the angles I've seen. But, where is this footage? Because usually when there's a play, don't the announcers talk about it? They bring it up, they rewind it, they show the film. There was none of that. Absolutely none of that. So, yes, illegal shift my ass. Week in and week out, there are some questionable calls that go the Chiefs' way. More than once a game. To assist in a victory doesn't look good on the refs. It doesn't look good on the refs or the NFL or the Chiefs for that matter. Like, it's not really, their fault unless somebody can prove that they're actually paying referees. But that's not going to happen. I'm sure it's just bad calls. The refs are human, right? They make mistakes. But when you change a call that can't be denied or declined. What the hell am I saying? But if you have a call that can't be declined and then you change it to a call that can be declined, you just have to question that. When you have guys, catching wide open passes in the Bengals game and you have a defender that totally hits them on tape over and over again, you can watch it, slow motion, watch it, however you want to watch it. The man literally hits him before the ball got there. It should have been a pass interference. It wasn't. They get lucky. They get lucky. It happens in the NFL, right? There's been plenty of teams that just have that bandwagon of luck, and you just you just can't stop it. I don't know. They got a rabbit's foot in their pocket. I don't know what the hell. I've been an AOC fan since the start, but I'm not going to get excited until we see it consistently. Oh yeah, 100%. He was on IR for a while, and there wasn't any film on him. In Turner's offense, I want him to. Yeah, we caught him off guard, but there is film on him as Turner's offense because it's the same offense. They've only tweaked a couple things, and really they're just opening it up. They're letting the receivers go. They're, calling plays and saying, which I don't even think it was a called play. I don't think either one of those touchdowns were called plays. I think he just seen, he read the defense, he's seen the look, and I'll break it down on film Thursday, but he's looking the other way. He looks, sees it, hikes the ball, and throws it before any of those guys were open on either one of the touchdowns. He throws the guys open, and that's what we haven't seen from Gardner. That's what we haven't seen from, even DC for a while, from any of the quarterbacks we've had. Jimmy G was throwing guys open, the ability to read defenses, to know where the safety's coming down, if he's biting or not. You got to know that shit. And AOC is a brilliant mind when it comes to football. So Yeah, I will say, they caught the Chiefs off guard, but the Chiefs have plenty of tape on Aiden O'Connell. They know what he can do, and I think they just surprised the shit out of him that he was, able to be so accurate, stand in the pocket, take sacks, and just get up and continue to throw dimes. And the just the deep ball threat. I've been preaching all year that when you have just a small threat, it don't have to be 15 times a game, 10 times a game, 2, 3 shots a game. It's gonna, especially if they're completed. Now, if you take 1 shot a game and it's caught, defense are gonna have to be honest. They're gonna have to, you know, they're gonna have to play back a little bit. They can't just keep blitzing or, acting like they're sending guys and dropping guys back in coverage. They're gonna have to play 2 safeties high and and make sure they're, at least doubling these guys that are wide open on the sidelines. So, and then opens up the run. It opens up play action. It opens up RPOs. It opens up everything. When you have a deep threat, I mean, just look at our run game. We actually got over 20 carries and we get over 100 yards. I've been saying this shit all year long, too. Give somebody more than 15 carries and they're going to get, he was already on pace. What do you have? 15 carries, 60 something yards, or 12 carries, 60 yards, 68 yards. 20 carries, he would have easily, in my book, do the math, easily had 100 yards. So you just got to feed these running backs, quit going away from shit. And yes, ALC definitely caught him off guard. But like I said, they know what the kid can do. I just think that the Turners were very, very smart and picking the defense apart, right? They knew that if you give Aiden O'Connell time, that he's going to find the open man. He's not going to go through the whatever the play is called, the first guy. He's not going to stare him down. He's going to go through his progressions if you give him time. So, and I think he'll continue to do that. But let's talk about that. Where do we stand? Well, let me read some of these comments and get caught up because I'm always so damn far behind. He said he wanted to run the clock and throw the ball out of bounds, but the play before also spiked the ball and could have let the clock run. It doesn't matter what he says. What he said was just asinine. There's, there's 15 seconds, bro. Our defense just came off of 2 3-and-outs. And you don't trust this defense that just came off of 2 3-and-outs to stop Patrick Mahomes for 8 seconds, maybe 10, because what was there 15, 12, 15 seconds when we snapped the when we spiked the ball. They could have came out, kicked the field goal. It's going to take 5, 6 seconds. You got to hike it, you got to catch it, you got to kick it, and the clock don't stop until it goes through the uprights, if I'm correct. So, I mean, that takes at least 6, probably 7 seconds. Maybe, I don't know what the timing is, but somewhere between 5 and 7 seconds off the clock, which leaves them, 10 seconds or less? Come on. It's just stupid. He had no reason to run the clock out. There was not enough time. You kicked the field goal. I could see if he said they were trying to get yardage and get it closer because, Daniel Carlson was 0 for 3 and wasn't very good on the night and probably was a little nervous. So if you're trying to get closer, that would have been a way better, statement or lie or whatever the fuck it was. Like, what, whatever excuse, that would have been a way better excuse. We were trying to get another couple yards, but it was dumb. Unless you were going to do a quarterback run to the sideline and try to pick up 1 or 2 more yards and get out of bounds. It's just there's no reason for it. It makes no sense. And it just shows the inexperience at coaching. And it just shows his inexperience over and over and over again. And we can go back to the fuck was that? Damn. We can go back to the wasted timeout, right? Rick Whitson, what's good? We were gonna punt. Sorry, I forgot the hell whatever just dropped. I didn't know what the hell it was. Scared the shit out of me. But we were getting ready to punt, and for no reason, he calls a timeout and decides to give Daniel Carlson his third attempt, which he missed. which didn't look good. Just punt the ball. He's second guessing himself, and that's that's when you lose ball games, in my opinion. When you start second guessing yourself, shit is gonna fall apart. Right? Go with your gut, trust your gut, and I think it's been just a rough year for AP, and everything he tries to do just seems to backfire. So he second guessed himself and was like, "Damn, let's punt or let's try for the field goal. Let's give Daniel Carlson a chance to redeem himself." Which, come on, I thought you had to give him. I mean, he's one of the best kickers in the league. Very, very seldom, never can I think of in his career is he missed 3 straight field goals. So, I mean, you have to go with your kicker and give him another opportunity, especially to win the game, right? Redeem himself, win the game. Everybody's happy. Nobody's going to remember the 3 missed field goals if we kick that field goal and we win. But instead, for some reason, he tried to run the clock. That's just asinine, bro. That's just my opinion. What did you want me to put up on the poll, Rebel? Oh, I forgot. I don't know. Give me a minute. I'll tell you in a second. Shout out to the Raider. I'm proud of AOC. I pulled for the kid from the start. I mean, a lot of us pulled for the kid from the start, and a lot of us thought he was gonna start. We were led to believe that in order for Gardner Minshew to start for the Raiders, for one, he had to beat out Aiden O'Connell, which never happened. I mean, go back and look at preseason numbers. Aiden O'Connell had better numbers. Aiden O'Connell played against Minnesota Vikings, first string, which what's their record right now? I mean, I'm just saying. Played against Minnesota Vikings, first string, did pretty well. Gardner Minshew got to play against the Dallas Cowboys. Look at their defense right now. I mean, yeah, they look good against us. Against Gardner Minshew in the playing against their second string. Look, I love Antonio Pierce the Raider way. I'm rooting for the guy 100%. But how far can you possibly go? Like when do you pull the plug and say enough is enough? And I know it's his first year. I know the injuries. I know the excuses. I know the quarterback. But for one, you brought in Getsy. For two, you let him go with Gardner Minshew when you knew damn well Aiden O'Connell was the guy. And I believe in my heart that Antonio Pierce knew AOC was the guy. And I think he wanted AOC to be that guy. All the press conferences pointed to, look, Aiden O'Connell's starting to be mobile. He's starting to be a leader, but nobody's grabbed the bull by the horns bullshit. And they decided to go with Gardner Minshew, which, Gardner's Minshew, the Pro Bowl. Fuck my life, dude. Hold on. Timeout. Fucking dog. But yeah, the whole Pro Bowl shit. Bro, he was a alternate Pro Bowl because the Super Bowl guys didn't want to go to the Pro Bowl. So come on, he was what? The second, third alternate? Somebody else declined going. I think 2 people declined going. So he was like third or fourth string alternate for the Pro Bowl. But it's just wild, bro. Just wild. I agree. Keep feeding Sincere. He'll keep getting better. I think Sincere deserves to be starting. Like, what they wait till the second quarter last week to put him in, I believe. They just kept going with the same thing, running a mirror, not getting yardage. They finally put in the kid, and again, first play yardage, second play yardage. The man is hungry. He's hungry. He's tired of being on this practice squad. What's it? The third year the kid's been on the practice squad. A lot of people think quarterbacks should be like that. Aiden O'Connell should have sat for a year or 2 and learned. But Sincere McCormick, he's been through a lot. He's been off the roster, on the roster, off the roster, on the practice squad, cut, released. I mean, man, the kid has been through a lot, and he's showed. Look, feed me more, feed me more. Those whatever 12 or 15 carries he got was not enough. Like the kid wants more. He was never winded. He was never once tapping on his head saying, take me out. The kid was pumped. He had the eye of the tiger in him, and he's shifty, right? He's shifty. He's not gonna just make one cut and go. He's gonna make a cut, and he can juke guys. He can get out of the way. He's got a little wiggle, and he's constantly moving his feet. He doesn't give up. That's the main thing. Once he hits the pile, and it does, he's still pushing. There was a couple times where he was stopped for a yard or two and ended up getting 5 or 6 because he just kept moving his feet, and the offensive line come shoving behind him. So I definitely definitely want to see Sincere, get the majority of the snaps. It's about time that we see what we got in this kid. Is he worth, bringing back as maybe the third back on the team if we draft somebody? Both the running backs we got, Zamir White and Madison, are free agents. So, definitely they're not the guy. They've proved they're not the guy. Have they had a shot in Turner's system? Well, not a lot, but both of them have kind of had a shot. And they didn't produce like Sincere McCormick. So, yeah, I believe Sincere's the guy, but I would like to see Dylan Labe too in this system because, we see all these tiny backs in the NFL that are small, bulky backs. He's not, he's 200 and 10, 15 pounds. The guy's not a small guy. He's short, but he's got strength. He's got huge ass legs. And the guy doesn't stop moving his feet either. We've seen just from the kickoff return. I want to see Labe out there. I want to see him get more touches. We already know what Amir Abdullah brings. He's great at catching out of the backfield, and I think he should be the third down back. But I think we should swap out Labe, a couple plays with Sincere McCormick. Give this team another little spark that, keep hitting these teams with guys that they're not expecting, right? Aiden O'Connell, why not throw Dylan Labe out there? Get him some runs. They ain't got no tape on that kid except for him fumbling and a couple snaps in the preseason, right? Run some wheel routes with that kid. The dude's ability to catch the ball out of the backfield as a receiver, as a slot receiver, and kick returns or punt returns is it's just ridiculous that he's not on the field. Again, personnel. Yeah, shout out. Hit them likes. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. I don't know who else in here. Chef in the building. What's good, my guy? Salute Raider Rebel. Fuck KC all the way. Yeah. Like the Raiders raidered once again, right? Yeah, my man was even saying feed me, right? Had the bowl, had the soup, was even telling them feed me. But, they go away from the shit. Shout out for pulling up. Y'all join tomorrow. We will be breaking down. I guess since we are out of the playoffs, we will be breaking down a little bit of draft. I guess we'll start with quarterbacks. And then if I can Wednesday, I don't know. If I can Wednesday, we'll be breaking down running backs because we definitely need both. But let me know your thoughts. Do you think the Raiders, we need a quarterback. We have to draft a quarterback. But do you think we go a different way in the first round? If Aiden O'Connell and this team seems like they're not giving up, there's no quit, there's no, they still got fight in them. It seems like they want AP to be the coach, and they're showing that, besides the stupid penalties and the dumb mistakes, they played their best game that I've seen all year. Definitely last week against the world champs. Should have won, didn't win, but what do you think? Do you think the Raiders go quarterback in the first round, or, do they try to take one of these guys, Jalen Milroe? I don't know. In the second round and go crazy like a running back in the first, because Ashton Genty is just a freak of nature. And if we fall down with the teams we got below us, just one win can possibly put us at the 7th, maybe even the 8th spot if these teams keep losing that are behind us and above us. So, it's kind of a tough spot we're in. Cowtown Luda in the building. We still have Aiden Antonio as head coach. Let me get this up here. Where you been, my guy? We still have Antonio as head coach. Most likely they will go quarterback in the first round, but I don't think he will be the coach next year. You think they go quarterback in the first round, even if we fall? I mean, if like I said, if this team we play the Jaguars, that could possibly be a win. We play the Saints, that could possibly be a win. Baker Mayfield hurt his ankle, was limping around yesterday on Sunday Night Football. I mean, that could be a sneaky winky link. So we never know. I mean, we could slip down very easily to 7th or 8th with just one victory, maybe 2 victories. And if we get 2 victories, who are they taking in the first round? Shador's gone. Cam's gone. Are either of those guys worth moving up and giving away 3 first rounds just for a couple spots? I just don't see that. OMG, so many crappy seasons looking forward to the draft, and it's like it never gets any better. Yeah, because, I mean, of course, the team's going to start balling out when we don't want them to ball out. They're going to try to play spoiler. They tried to do it Black Friday, couldn't succeed. But we still have a game that's going to be very, very, very critical in the division against the Chargers at the end of the season in our house. They'll be battling for a playoff berth. Could it be for a wild card berth? Could we play spoiler to them? I mean, there's a lot of situations and scenarios that could go wrong or that could go good. But I also think Aiden will pull out 3 wins. If he pulls out 3 wins, we're jacked, bro. 3 wins out of the 5 games, at least at the minimum. So if that's the case, I hope Tom Telesco sticks to best player available. And if that's the case, then you have to go Ashton Genty at that point. I mean, come on. Most teams are not going to take a running back in the first round. There are teams out there. It's not like it's not done, but most teams are against it. And, most draft boards have him between 10 and 15. If Ashton Genty's there and we win 3 games, bro, that puts us like where we were last year, kind of at 13 or something. And that's just crazy. So I love Aiden O'Connell. I hope he balls out, but I just see the Raiders raidering. I see us being in every game, but I just don't see us pulling out 3 games. I could be wrong, though. Would I love to see us win? But I'd love to see us win all the games and see how good of a general manager Tom Telesco is and see what he can do when we're in the same position or worse than last year. I guess nah. If we win the rest of the games, we still got to be in the top 12? Fuck, I don't know. I don't know. What else we got? I haven't dove into any of the college prospects yet. Been pretty busy. But unpopular opinion, my hopes is solidarity in the offensive line. I mean, there's I don't know anybody's names yet because my old brain doesn't allow me to remember all those. Jackie Akala was good. Appreciate you pulling up. Travis Hunter would be sick, but we'd have to lose the rest of our games or move up to number 1. I don't know if Tom Telesco is willing to try to move up to number 1. We do need a running back and linebackers, but we have one linebacker and Amari Gaynor that just needs to get on the grass. So, if we draft another one, are we going to go to a 4-3 base defense? That would be good if we could get, another shutdown corner. That would be absolutely great. I think the Raiders, would do much better in a 4-3, having linebackers that have speed that could cover, but I don't know. We will see. I think I just jumped ahead of a bunch of people. I would love it if we ended up with Travis Hunter. Dude, here's my scenario. Like, if Tom Telesco's that master GM, and I don't know how you would pull it off, but the rumors are, right, last year they were willing to give up 3 first-round picks. They called the Commanders, I almost said Redskins again. They called the Washington Commanders not once, not twice, but more than a couple times from, the rumors are. I don't know. I'm not in the building. I'm just saying these are rumors. But they tried to get rid of 3 first-round picks to move up to get Jane Daniels last year. So if they were willing to do that, do we keep whatever we're at and try to give up, 2 picks and maybe trade a Andre James that probably is more than likely 99.9% is not going to be playing center for the Las Vegas Raiders ever again and is still under contract. Colton Miller, who's struggling, has a good game, has a bad game. Do we move on from him and, go get one of these top guys in the draft? There's a lot of scenarios, but if I was the Raiders, and I said this last year, the best way to rebuild is to have 2 first-round picks. And if you can pull that off and, keep the pick that we have now and somehow move up to get your guy that you want and keep our pick, that's the best way to rebuild, in my opinion. And I think there's a lot of players that we could definitely get, in this draft that don't have to be in the first round or second round, but there's players that are going to fall to the third round on defense, running backs, receivers, receiver galore. Running back, linebacker, and one more DB. We need a lot. But, if Colton Miller's not going to be around, and if they decided, to go move off of Colton Miller and, stick with Munford or go get, another guy in the second or third round, one of these top guys. And, we have a lot of people that not a lot, but we have a couple guys that have jobs at their starting position that lost it this year. And, another guy, Divine Diablo, a lot of guys under contract. So there's a lot of questions before the draft. Might fuck up like beat Carr and the chokers. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't, there's a shitty bad taste in their mouth from what happened on Black Friday. We know Jackson Powers Johnson is just going to come out in beast mode, and this dude is going to be trying to kill everything that moves, everything that twitches. And Aiden's going to have a chip on his shoulder. He took the blame for the loss. JPJ took the blame for the loss, which really, really says a lot about the character of guys that we've been drafting. I know Tom Telesco did not draft Aiden O'Connell, but we had a good general manager, I thought, at the time. Now, Dick Daniels, not so good. And obviously, we could have had CJ Stroud, right? We know that story. But they went and got Aiden O'Connell. And Aiden O'Connell's character is just, for as young as he is, for him to always take the blame and stand up, not point fingers. There's a couple guys in college. I'm not going to say any names. And if you watch football and college football, they whine about their offensive line. They whine about their defense not being good enough. And that's why, they lost that game or they got beat by this team. Aiden O'Connell has never done that shit. He's taking the blame for everything. The dude's a stand-up guy. So we have character in the building. We're building character. Bunch of young guys. We still haven't seen anything from Trey Taylor. We don't know, we'll see that guy by the end of the year. The year with on the practice squad, we got to see what we have in that guy. So, we have a guy, safety, who's just sitting and learning. which can't hurt. DeCamari and Richardson getting time on the grass, not looking too bad. Yes, he's given up a couple big plays, but he's still one of the top guys when it comes to tackles the last couple of weeks. So another bright spot. But no matter what, I love this team. And I like dating a bitch you can't. Oh, it's like dating a bitch you can't stand. I don't know, kinda, except for the girl you could kick to the curb, but the Raiders, man, it's you can't. It's in the blood, right? Just can't get rid of that shit. Don't apologize. I apologize. I get emotional sometimes, bro. We all get emotional. It's the silver and black. Like everybody gets emotional. Facts. Yeah, Jackie was on point. We definitely need a linebacker and a DB, but like I said, Amari Gainer, we don't know what we got in that kid, which is definitely starting to irritate the hell out of me because we're getting towards the end of the year. I want to see this kid get as much reps as possible. But again, he's definitely not going anywhere. He's on a rookie contract. But you got to know, if we need another linebacker, top linebacker, do we need one in the second round, the third round? Can we get away with another fourth round linebacker? These are things you got to know, and you can't know unless you play guys sitting on your bench. Yeah, hit them thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. WW. Show love helps the channel. Yeah, what she said. In my opinion, got to live in reality. Tom Telesco isn't one to get rid of all the picks for one pick. I know exactly. We are way more than one person away from turning this franchise around. I mean, a couple pieces, but if we could keep this O line that we have right now, I mean, it's young, and I don't know what they're going to do with Colton Miller because sometimes, like I just said, he has good games, and the other time the dude is on roller skates half the time, and he's just getting pushed around out there. And he's not very old. He's only 28 years old. He's one of the original Oakland Raiders. We don't have but 3 or 4 left on the team. 2 of them are kickers. So I don't know if they move on from Colton. I don't know what they do, but this O line is getting better every single week. We've seen the protection it gave Aiden O'Connell, and they're just getting better. And if they can continue to progress, we might not have to go get offensive linemen. Now, we're going to need some guys for depth because we're definitely not keeping Whitehair or Andres Pete, hopefully, around another year. Those guys should have been cut, in my opinion, as as soon as Getsy got cut. Both of those guys should have been down the road, and we should have brought in some free agents because I know there's some out there that could be better than these guys. 1K like and get them to that accomplishment. That would be great. Man, I've been stuck between 900 and 1,000. Seems like for 4 months. It's driving me insane. But I got to be more consistent, so I'm not complaining. There are 10 watching and only 2 people have liked the video. Come on, y'all, hit the likes. Show some love. Help me out. I don't know if any of you guys noticed yet, but Colton Miller fell off. We need to draft a left tackle, the depth of the O line. I know you haven't said you got into it yet, but the only ones that stand out for me really is damn, I can't think of his name. The left tackle for LSU. I think that dude's a monster. The left tackle, I think he's a left tackle for Texas. That dude's an absolute beast. There's a couple guys from some smaller schools that haven't really got into linemen too much. Been mostly on quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, which I'm gonna be breaking down all this week, next week. and probably throughout the rest of the season. Because what else is there to talk about? But yes, we definitely need O line, and like I said, I don't know what's going on with Colton Miller. We definitely will not know until the end of the season, right? Travis Hunter would take our wide receiver and corner. I don't know if they draft. I don't know if any team's willing to right away, maybe down the road like Deion Sanders did, play corner and run kickoff returns or punt returns most of your career, and then every once in a while throw them in, you know, on some key third downs or something, kind of ease them into it. But yeah, if the dude could play both ways, man, I mean, his motor's ridiculous. You see, he can do whatever. So maybe he can, and maybe teams will take a shot, let him go, play both sides. No, fuck that. Say no motherfucking names. What? What you talking about, Willis? Whose name? Whose name? Whose name? Jackie, I can agree. Get the Raiders for 1,000 subs. Thank y'all. Appreciate the love. I'm way behind in this chat. We have 2 third-round picks, I think, and the Jets keep losing. Yeah, the Jets keep losing, but they had to win for us to get a better pick. So we're gonna stay at the 2 third rounds. Like, we can move those 2 third rounds. I did a couple mock drafts. I haven't posted them, but I've just been messing around, kind of see where everything stands, see what we could get. But I did where I traded a first round next year, Andre James, and a third round pick for Tennessee's third round pick. That was when Tennessee had the third round pick because they needed a center. So, there's a lot of teams out there that would be willing. I don't know if it's Andre James at center, but to take a shot on Colton Miller, who's been, pretty much close to a Pro Bowl left tackle his whole entire career. Yes, he's had injuries, but he still has flashes of being that guy, and then he had flashes of of like I said, just living on roller skates. So we need to just get younger guys in free agency and the draft. I made videos last year of, guys that we could have went and got on the offensive line that would have helped this team. But I think the team we have, the offensive line we have right now, they're starting to get in sync a little bit. If they can just stay healthy and get more time playing together, I think they'll be good. Appreciate you. See, and that's the thing. Like, if you listen to, key parts of Antonio Pierce's press conferences, he has said over and over again, he's not trying to win the Super Bowl this year or even make the playoffs. He's, trying to build a team for the future down the road, which if you only have a 2-year contract, those aren't things you would say, right? So nobody knows this man's contract or where it stands. People are just speculating. It's a 2-year contract. Some people say $5 million. I've heard $8 million a season. We don't know where AP stands or his contract. It could be 4 years. It could be 5 years. We don't know. But the way he talks and talk about building for the future and not winning now tells me that he's got something in his contract where, as long as he's making Mark Davis happy and making progress with what he's trying to do, that he might have a chance to be around. And I mean, that's all going to depend on, of course, Tom Brady and where, if Tom Brady has the say that everybody says he has, then it's going to be a hard sell, I think, for the way shit's been going this year. I would rather have Travis Hunter on the defense and a DB rather than a wide receiver. I'd like to have him pretty much play wherever the hell the man wants to play. I mean, to be honest with you, he's not the best probably receiver in the draft, but when it comes to talent wise, when it comes to athleticism, when it comes to hands, all that shit, just the knowledge of football at his age, awareness, Again, just the knowledge of the game. I'd let that kid play wherever he wanted to play. Shit, put him at quarterback. I'm sure he could play there too. I'm trying to keep up with the stream. Damn it. Where am I at? If you would keep up with the comments, you would know that I meant by saying his name. I was talking about Sanders. I'm fucking slow, bro. I'm slow. Okay, I'll just read them and I won't comment. How about that? Let's do that. I could be wrong, but I don't think Sanders is it. I mean, there's a lot of people who say it's not it. And there's a lot of content creators that are starting to say people are racist because they don't think Sanders is it. Fucking this clown shit. My bad for the confusion. No, you're good. You're right. I need to keep up. Rick White is he is kind of a Raider because of his dad. What? Antonio Pierce is full of dog dookie. I am not certain, but when I look at the body language at the presser, looks to me like he already got the word he's gone next year. I don't know. I still see a lot of smiles. I see a man that looks defeated, that looks like he wrote a bunch of checks that his ass couldn't cash, when it came to people saying, what are you going to do with Harbaugh and what are you going to do with, the coaches in the AFC West with Harbaugh and Andre and Andy Reid and Sean Payton, and he was like, I ain't got to worry about them. They got to worry about me. You know, he's made a lot of stupid comments that this team has not backed up. But unless it's Belichick, like I said, I could see him bringing him back. I could see him giving him another shot, giving him the quarterback, giving him the guys he wanted. Because if we look at it, he did want Kingsbury, right? He did want that offensive coordinator, and he did want Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is, just shining as a rookie, and it's in Kingsbury's system. So you can't blame Antonio Pierce for Mark Davis not giving him what he wanted, or Tom Telesco giving him what he wanted. So maybe they'll give him another shot this year and give the man what he wants and see what happens. But right now, the chances are very slim. But if they keep winning, if they could start winning and putting up numbers like we did, 400, almost 500 yards on the defending Super Bowl champions, come on, bro. What else we got? How is the nation doing today? I don't know. There's only 9 of them in here. So, how is the 9 in here doing? I think AP is going to be gone. Okay. Also, Max really likes AP, and if he gets fired, he might want to leave. That's what I heard. Well, he definitely said that at the beginning of last year to get him hired. But with all the shit that's gone on, I don't know if that's really where he stands right now or if he'd be willing to go anywhere. But we never know. The Jaden Daniels shit is old. He was never what? He was never getting past or given up by Washington. I mean, yeah, we knew that. I knew that. You knew that. Most of the smart people knew that we weren't given you couldn't match what they wanted. They were going after that quarterback. They had their mindset on it. That was the guy of their future. And they made a brilliant choice, right? They could have made a dumb choice. And, well, maybe not a dumb choice, because if they didn't get that kid, they'd probably be shit in the league, and then they'd have the Raiders draft pick this year. So, I mean, yeah, but they made a brilliant choice. They brought in the right guy to bring this kid along. There's a lot of people that said, Jaden Daniels held the ball too long. He had problems reading defenses. There was a lot of shit, but they put him on the little virtual reality shit every day, and he plays a football game, virtual reality before he practices. And obviously that shit has done wonders for the kid because he's out there just killing it in the NFL. So we know that was his guy, and he didn't get his guy. But he also had Aiden O'Connell in the building, and whether even if you're not coaching it, if you're allowing it to happen, you're still coaching it, right? If you're not stopping it, you're still coaching it. So the fact that he didn't, I didn't get my quarterback, but this is the guy I want. We're not going with Gardner. We brought him in to be a backup. That's what I told everybody in all the press conferences. He's the backup. He's got to earn his spot. And it just made everybody look bad. It made the organization look bad. It made Antonio Pierce look bad. It's made Tom Telesco look bad. Just the stupid statements that everybody's made. Crosby wants to win just as bad as the fans. Just as bad as the fans want him to. I'm sure he'll keep going to work and taking care of business every day, no matter what happens at the head coaching position. I mean, yeah, he wants to be a Raider. He's said over and over again he's a Raider for life. He definitely wanted Antonio Pierce to be that guy because we've seen what happened with Bisaccia. They wanted Rick Bisaccia to be that guy, and they went and brought in Josh Dick McDaniels, and it ruined everything. Totally killed the chemistry. Got rid of a franchise quarterback, which, yes, it might have been time. Yes, he's getting up there in age, and yes, he's washed up. Not washed up, but getting washed up. But yeah, I don't think Crosby's going nowhere. I think AP is on the hot seat, and I think when you keep making stupid coaching, decisions, there was no reason at all to not just kick the field goal, put it on your defense to stop Mahomes in under 15 seconds and win the football game. If you missed the field goal, you missed the field goal, but at least you made the smart decision. And when you keep making stupid decisions, that's what costs people jobs. Pierce still being the coach heading into next year is like watching Max limp around with the high ankle sprain on the field. Yes, I know. And that was rough, bro. That was horrible watching. I totally agree. Especially with our record and the way things went, the man should have never been out there, but Max is Max and he's going to do Max. We all want them to succeed, but the truth is they're hurting the team. He's hurting the team, yes. But is he really? Because you you got to think when Josh McDaniels was the head coach, this entire team gave up on him at 3-5. Yes, he had a full season where they lost 7 or 8 games in the fourth quarter, which definitely not good for anybody. But the team, he lost a locker room. They gave up on him. They didn't want to play for this guy. The team knows, and most people that know football knows Antonio Pierce didn't have the experience, and there was going to be learning curves. He wasn't going to come in like he did, the rah guy, let guys, talk their shit, smoke their shit, do their thing in the locker room, and it go like it did last year. And then you lose a key piece in Malcolm Kuntz, which was a huge part of this defense. Almost as big, if not as big, as Max Crosby, because it let Max Crosby not be triple teamed, double teamed as much. It let him play free. And there's a lot of circumstances. It's made Patrick Graham look bad, not being able to stop the run. Antonio Pierce being a defensive minded coach. That's a lot of shit has looked bad. But when you look at it, just Raider, baby, what's good? Appreciate you pulling up. When you look at it all around, Antonio Pierce didn't get his quarterback. He didn't get his offensive coordinator. They settled for the third choice at offensive coordinator, and it just never really worked from the jump. Personnel, that's his. That you're a head coach, you should say who you want in and who you don't want in. But on the other hand, he also said he's going to let his coach and do their job. So not being involved in that shit has to fall on your shoulders too. And there's a lot that falls on his shoulders and a lot that, you have to kind of overlook. But I mean, you don't have to, but They're not giving up on Pierce, but he can't offer them what they need as far as management on X's and O's standpoint. What Pierce offers can be offered by Spillane, Max, and other players on the team. I agree with that to a point. I mean, the man does know football, right? He does know defense. He was a Mike linebacker with a Super Bowl ring. He helped beat the undefeated Tom Brady, in the Super Bowl. So the man does know football. Now, when it comes to X's and O's, he's definitely a defensive guy, and he's talking to Patrick Graham and giving his thoughts and conversing. But on the offensive side, he needs an offensive coordinator to take over that he can hand the reins to, that can handle all that shit. And Getsy wasn't that guy. He was in over his head. He was in over his head in Chicago. He failed with Fields. He failed with Gardner Minshew, and he just didn't want to give Aiden O'Connell a shot. And I don't know why, but they just kept pushing it, and giving Garner too much leadway. But when you look at it like that, all signs just point from a lot of people saying, they were tanking from the get go. From the get go, they were practicing in training camp, all those reps, 1,200 reps in the off season, because AP was like, this is not the team to do what I want to do. I don't have the team to accomplish what I want to accomplish. And, maybe they made those decisions early in the year and said, hey, we'll go with this guy. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we get a good draft pick and we rebuild and we start from there. I don't know. Like I said, there could be a lot of things, but I think the players still believe in AP. I think players in the building believe in the people in the building. All those people love Antonio Pierce, winning or losing. How many times do you see people in the building still smiling? Even in the press conferences, all the people are joking around, smiling, laughing. That shit wasn't happening when we were losing with Dick Daniels. Six quarterback and 12 pick hurts. What? I'm confused. Yes, he did ruin this team. He ruined the chemistry. He ruined a lot to this team. What's good, my guy? Just Raider Baby. Y'all go check out his channel if you haven't already. He also does Raider content. I've had him on the channel before. If y'all didn't check it out, go watch it. I definitely am someone who hoped Pierce succeeded. But in reality, it's like gonna get a haircut from a friend who's just learning. I mean, yeah, in reality, it is that. But Mark Davis knew that. And, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Mark Davis has said in press conferences, AP has said, in press conferences and videos, Mark Davis told him he don't need him to be an X's and O's guys. Now, the fact that he brought in guys that weren't competent to try to do what he wanted to do in his system, and still really never gave him. I mean, come on. He wants to be a smash mouth, physical, violent football team. You can't do that running the ball 12 times a game, 15 times a game. The most times we ran it was 17 times a game, except for Black Sunday. We ran it 23 times. We got 100 yards. I think we ran it one other time, 25 times, 26 times, and got 100 and something yards. So when we run the ball over 20 times, we get 100 yards. But none of these coordinators have done that. So being the head coach and not getting what you want, and people, aren't trying to fucking accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, don't have the same vision, it was never going to work from the get-go. And I think, with the Turners in there, we seen last week 23 attempts. They're starting to run the ball a little more. And if we can stretch the field with Aiden O'Connell and run the ball, I think it's definitely going to help this team. But it would have helped this team from the get-go. And a lot of us knew that. but some people were just blind and jumped on the Minshew bandwagon. It was like, oh, he's the savior. He makes $25 million in 2 years. He's got to be the guy. It was never meant to be. We all knew that. We just didn't know how bad he was at it. I mean, yeah, we've lost games, but if you go back and get right down to the reason we have lost games, it's been Gardner Minshew. I mean, 100% are the offensive line or whoever you want to put on, throwing the interceptions, turning the ball over with fumbles, running and bouncing the ball off your knee and giving it to the other team. That's not Antonio Pierce. Wasn't Luke Getsy, and it hasn't been Scott Turner. That's been 100% Garner. Garner has almost all of our turnovers this year, and they keep putting the guy in and giving him chance after chance after chance. So you can't blame that on Antonio Pierce, and you can't blame this. Yes, our defense has been gashed over and over again, but it's been in the second half, and almost every game is turned around by a big play from turnovers. And that's why this title for this video was called The Gift That Keeps on Giving, or whatever the hell the title is. I don't know what it was. The Gift of Giving. Yeah, because the Raiders have given away every single game this year by turnovers. We have been in every game. At the half, we have been in the game. Almost every single, go back and look at the scores. We have been in the game every game at the half except for the Carolina Panthers game. Then we come out in the second half and we run the ball 3 times. And and most of the times we've got the ball first in the second half and haven't done shit on any of those drives. But yes, he has made stupid calls. He has wasted timeouts, but that's all part of the learning curve. Would it be better to have a Belichick? Yes, but you realize that when you bring in a new head coach again, it's going to be another year or 2, maybe 3, before everybody buys into what he's trying to preach. He gets his guys in the building, the quarterback he wants, the offensive coordinator he wants, the defensive coordinator he wants. It's going to keep going. So when do you say, fuck it, give this guy a chance? Or when do you say, fuck it, get him out and let's start over? That's where we're at. That's where we're at. And I'm at the point, I don't know. I want to see the dude succeed. I want to see stability. I want to see continuity. I want to see consistency in this organization. Is he the guy to do it? I don't know. But it looks pretty damn good with Scott Turner and Norv Turner in the building. And if it can continue to look like this, bro, give him a shot. Give him a chance. Because, I mean, what else we got? What else we got? Start over again? I'm not into starting over. You know damn well if they bring in a Belichick, which probably is more than likely not going to happen, but if they bring in a Mike Vrabel, he's a defensive minded guy. He's going to change everything. He's going to bring in his style runner. He's going to bring in his style offensive lineman. A lot of these guys might be gone, and we're in a whole rebuild again. At least with Antonio Pierce, if we keep some of these free agents and we bring in young guys that buy into a system, and we can get continued success at the offensive line and not kill ourselves, not shoot ourselves in the foot, not turn the ball over and give games away over and over again, he has a chance to succeed. I guarantee you. The man doesn't want to lose. He wants to win. And nobody wants to be a Raiders head coach more than Antonio Pierce. That's a fact. You can take that shit to the bank. Nobody wants this job more than him. And there's not very many people that want the job at all. Whoa, what else we got? I don't know where I left off. Maybe this one? If for one could give a fuck about what Mark Davis wants, he's not a football guy. Antonio's vision was the problem. There was already a team assembled by the last regime. And I said that before. You weren't in my last live, but I said Antonio Pierce took a team that was already assembled, that a coaching staff was already assembled, and he won with a coaching staff that was already there and a team that was already there that the former coach could not win with because he lost a building. But AOP, AC, blah, 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 Antonio Pierce turned that shit around. Now, when it came time for him to put his own staff together, he drastically failed because he didn't have the experience. Now, he leaned on Tom Coughlin and he leaned on Marvin Lewis. And those guys obviously didn't point him in the right direction. I don't know how much say they had on the Getsy situation, if any, because it was, he was hired. So maybe phone wise, I don't know. But whoever's in his ear, and another thing that you're forgetting, and a lot of people in the nation is forgetting, Antonio Pierce and the Las Vegas Raiders, Mark Davis, hired a consultant for plays, whether to go for it, whether to call a timeout, whether to challenge it. There's somebody in the booth that he talks to on his little headset when he flips his little thing down that is telling him, these are the odds. Go for it. Don't go for it. This is your chance. This is your choice. It's not all on him. So there's somebody in his ear saying, this is what I think you should do. And when you're a coach that doesn't really have much experience in these situations and somebody's telling you these are the numbers, you're going to go with the numbers, right? At least I would. I'm like, well, fuck, if I don't know, might as well go with what sounds good. So it's not all Antonio Pierce. It's not him completely. It's a team situation. And Mark Davis and Tom Telesco have put people in position to help Antonio Pierce with this job. Maybe he has too much help. Maybe you should just let him coach and see what he does without a headset, somebody in his ear. I don't know. But we can't put it all on him when he has other people telling him what to do, when to take a timeout. Now, I don't know if somebody was in his ear saying, hey, let's run 3 seconds off the clock. Stupidest flipping shit I ever seen in my life. But there could have been. And although the head coach didn't have the character or any of the other qualities needed to succeed as head coach, they did assemble some good players. I mean, yeah, they had a couple, but they also had some that were not very good, not very good at all. But it's every team, bro. Every team, it's a hit or miss. You're not gonna hit 100% all the time. You're not gonna miss 100% all the time unless you're the Raiders. Bullshit. Quit making excuses for the coach. It chose Minshew to, and he continued to choose Minshew until it was unable. I agree, and he was injured. And I agree, Minshew would probably still be the quarterback, and Antonio Pierce would still be making stupid decisions. But let him make those decisions and let Mark Davis decide at the end of the year. They're not going to fire him during the season. I'm sure they will take time at the end of the year to put it all together. They will sit down with Tom Brady. They will sit down with Tom Telesco, and they will evaluate Antonio Pierce 100%. Is he worth bringing back? Is he not? But there is a big, big chance that if we do draft a quarterback, Aiden O'Connell is still the quarterback next year, and they let the kids sit because Tom Brady is a huge, huge believer, and so is Tom Telesco, in letting guys sit for a year, learn the system, get acclimated to the NFL. I fell behind again. Hold on, I'm catching back up. He is the head coach. Treat him like it. Well, yeah. Then if you treat him like it, take the headset away, get all these people out of his ear, and let him be the head coach and make the stupid decisions on himself. No one will want Belichick. Would consider Vrabel over Belichick. I guarantee you, if they move on from Antonio Pierce, because they're not Belichick, Vrabel is the guy. It's going to be Vrabel in the building. That's who Tom Brady wants. That's Tom Brady's boy. He was advocating for him last year. I made videos on it last year. He wanted Belichick to come in and be general manager. Belichick didn't want that job. He wanted Vrabel to come in. Vrabel didn't really want the job. And they went with Antonio Pierce.
know Vrabel won't change a lot. If anything, he will be familiar offense. Josh McDaniels ran. I believe in how the Turners they do will be back next year. If they come back next year, I believe it's with Antonio Pierce. There's no way they're keeping the offensive coordinators and changing head coaches. Bro, that's not happening. There's no way in hell. And I'll put whatever on that shit. I agree that they should not fire him during the season, at least deserve to finish the season out. Yeah, and I'm again not making excuses. It's facts with all the injuries they've had on offense and defense, with the offensive line carousel. It's like a flipping roller coaster, which he said he didn't want a roller coaster of starting quarterbacks. He's made horrible, horrible decisions, 1,000%. But every coach makes stupid decisions. I mean, just look at the just look at the Chargers head coach. How many stupid decisions he made to get his ass fired last year. People make dumb decisions. People think their job's on the line and it gets pressure. Yes, to Vrabel, but also we need another head coach. Yeah. I mean, I would be good with Vrabel only because he had his team in the playoffs. They were 9-7, 9-7, and 11-5, I do believe, until their general manager made the biggest, stupidest, dumbest, one of the stupidest, dumbest trades ever, and traded one of the best wide receivers in the NFL to the Philadelphia Eagles. And his team went. Wait, where's my whistle thing? Hold up. Can y'all hear that? Because I can't hear it. Oh, shit. Did it stop? No, it didn't stop. Is it still playing? All right. That was dumb. Don't do that again. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. And it just so happens to be coached next. What? And if he just so happens to be coached next year, I will be rooting for him again to learn from his mistakes. But if he is in the fact fired, I would like Vrabel to be hired. Also, Ben Johnson. Yeah, the thing I think would be great, but I just don't see us giving him the control, not ever being a head coach, and the money we would have to pay that man to come here would just be absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. Yeah, but if we draft a top 2 pick, her would not start for the first half of the season. Oh, autocorrect. I got you. First half of the season, or maybe even the whole season. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no guarantee. And if you give Aiden O'Connell the rest of this year with the same offensive coordinator and Scott Turner, and you keep Antonio Pierce around and you run it back with him next year, and you put a better offensive line that has some time together and continuity, even if it is the same offensive line, if these guys can get better and gel and just give him time, the man will throw dimes. And you draft a quarterback in the first round, second round, third round, whatever round it is. You say you go get a Jalen Milroe in the second round, which people are go nuts for even saying, or you go get a Curtis Roke or a Drew Allard that's 6'5", 235 pounds. You know who also is that size? Josh Allen, who runs and drags and carries defensive linemen and linebackers because they can't tackle him because he has such a wide stride and he's 6'5" and he's just as big as these guys. Those are guys you build franchises around. Aiden O'Connell's big like that. He just needs to bulk up, bro. He's 212, 6'4", 6'5", whatever he is. Yeah, he needs to bulk up a little bit. Damn, autocorrect. I got you. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure Mike Vrabel was not happy about that trade. Fuck no, he wasn't. Come on, bro. A matter of fact, there's videos in the draft room of him getting up and walking away. Like the man just got up and left the building. Like just got up and left his seat, walked to the door, was gonna walk out, turn around, walk back, shaking his head. He was like, "What the hell just happened?" They didn't even talk to the coach about it. Like he just basically was like, "This is what I'm doing." Like, that was just absolutely crazy, bro. Crazy. So yeah, Vrabel is a good coach, man. Like he beat our Raiders a couple times when he was the head coach there. So we did beat him in the playoffs. I do remember. Thank God. That was a crazy game, DC. We should be the first team to have two coaches, an offensive coach and a defensive coach. We have pretty much 5 coaches in the building. Oh, we got coaches galore in the building right now. Like, come on. We got Coughlin on speed dial. We got Joe Philbin, who's been a head coach. We got who else? Rob Ryan. Man, there's a lot of guys that have way more experience than others, but they all have the same vision. I think you got to let the man coach, just like when Gardner was in there. Let him be Gardner. Let him throw the football. Let him run around. Let him be stupid, make mistakes. But he's going to win his games if you let him be him. And Antonio Pierce, what was all that shit in the beginning about let guys be themselves? We want guys to come in the building and be themselves, just not on the football field. You're going to change, how they play. 2 head coaches. I mean, like I said, I think we kind of got like 4 or 5 head coaches right now because I don't think Antonio Pierce is the one making all the calls and all the decisions. LOL. Watching Rebel operate his YouTube is like watching Pierce coach. That's some bullshit right there, bro. It's fucked up, Luda. Don't you dare me ever compare me to Antonio Pierce's bullshit ass coaching. I don't make that many mistakes. Okay, well, sometimes. Jackson Dart. I think Jackson Dart is an absolute stud. Yes, he had a horrible outing, 3 interceptions in the last minute and a half, 2 weeks ago. But that kid has all the potential, especially if you let him sit for a year, behind a veteran quarterback or even a decent quarterback with a good quarterback coach and offensive coordinator. That's the thing too. I know, bro, it's all love, but that's the shit too. Is just look at what the Washington Commanders have done. Look what the Texans have done. They have a great offensive coordinator that knows ball, that knows how to get the best out of these young quarterbacks and, build teams around them and scheme up plays to keep them on their feet, keep them upright, and have them looking downfield and keep able to keep their eyes downfield and make plays. And they have good quarterback coaches. And that's one of the main things Deion Sanders keeps saying about his son is he's got to go somewhere that's, groomed quarterbacks in the past, that's brought quarterbacks up. And the Raiders haven't done that. We have not done that. We have not done that ever. You could say they did that with DC, but come on, DC's ceiling could have been way better if we just put a defense behind them and, number 1 receiver, number 1 running back built around him since we had him so long. But no, we just made dumb draft decisions. And I feel we're going to do the same thing with this, with this quarterback in this draft. It's until they prove me wrong, bro, until they prove me wrong. But to answer your question, I like Jackson Dart a lot. And I would take that dude in the second round easy in a heartbeat. over a Milrow, it just depends on what kind of system you're trying to run. Jalen Milrow, a lot of people are going to knock that dude because of his interceptions. But if you want a mobile, actual dual threat, it's Jalen Milrow. If you want one of the smartest quarterbacks probably to ever come out of the draft, it's Jalen Milrow. Like, this dude is very, very intelligent. He's already got, I don't know how many degrees in college. The dude is brilliant. Does it translate on the field? Not so much when it comes to reading defenses and shit. But the kid is a freak of nature with, his athleticism. He can throw the ball farther than anybody in this draft. He can run. And maybe the Raiders take a chance on, a kid like that in the second round. And that's if we fall in the draft, But if we end up number 1 or number 2, number 3 pick, we're definitely getting a quarterback. There's no doubt about it. But if we fall to 7, 8, 9, I just don't see us taking a quarterback in the first round. And I hope we don't. 100%, I hope we don't. I hope we go best player available. And that would get us some damn good players. I mean, the defensive end from Penn State, the hell is his name? I can't think of any of these kids' names right now. I don't know what's going on, but we will break it all down tomorrow when we do some college reviews. But there are some studs on the defense, on the offensive line that you could pick up in the first round to help this team. Because, like you said, Luda, it's not one player away. Could one player come in and change the whole, trajectory of the team? Could we start moving upwards? Yes, definitely. But you're going to have to build around them. And my whole point is, if you draft a quarterback in the first round, number 1, number 2, number 3 pick, it's a mistake this year. We still don't have a solid offensive line. We still don't have weapons for him. I mean, yes, we have Brock Bowers. Yes, you have Jacoby Myers. But other than that, Trey Tucker, 1-2 passes a game is not going to cut it. And they don't use Michael Mayer right, except for blocking. So, you got to have more weapons. You got to have a solid run game. Is Sincere McCormick that guy? No, he's not a 150 yard a game guy, in my opinion, yet. Could he be? I mean, possibly. We have to see. Put him in the game, right? Give him more reps. Give him 20 reps a game and see what he does for the rest of the year. But you can't bring in a guy like Shador or a Cam Ward and not have weapons around them. I mean, look at these guys in college. They have weapons go receivers they can throw to, 2 tight ends, 3 running backs. I mean, we have none of that. We have none of that. So if we go get a quarterback in the first round, we're reaching, in my opinion. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is, but that's why I want to win games. We don't have to make that choice, right? We don't have to make that choice. Win a couple games, put us 6, 7, 5, whatever, somewhere in there, and then make the decisions, because you never know what these guys are going to be. There's no guarantee Cam Ward, Shador Schrader, Jackson Dart, any of these guys are going to be special, are going to be pro style NFL quarterbacks. I mean, especially if you bring them to Las Vegas, right? That all depends on their character, how they were raised, their parents. A lot of shit goes into that shit. I lived in Sin City 90% of my life, all growing up. It is a bad, bad place to be. You can get caught up in so many shit, not even trying to. And if you bring the wrong players there, it's not good. So the Raiders got a lot of character studying, a lot of psych evaluation tests, a lot of meetings, a lot of talks to find out who that guy's going to be. And again, if you end up with number 1 and you don't take Travis Hunter, it's a fail, bro. It's 100,000 time fail. Like, you can't pass on a guy like that, in my opinion. You can't have a guy with that much talent, both sides of the ball, on special teams, could put him wherever pretty much. And I'm sure that guy's going to succeed. So if you're going best available, you have to look at Travis Hunter if you're number 1. But I just don't see us being that high. I see us somehow, the tides turning, some of the luck going our way. And with Scott Turner and North Turner calling the shots, if we can get a consistent running game, open up the field, take deep shots, like we're gonna beat some of these teams we're playing against. And it's not if, it's when, right? So I'm gonna get off of here. What else I gotta talk about? Oh, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, 300 yards against us, 1 touchdown, no yards on the ground. Our defense held them to 8 yards rushing. That, I believe, is the 3rd game in a row where we have held an offense that has averaged over 110 yards a game to under 70 yards. So, man, this defense is definitely coming around, even with all the injuries. And next man up, you got to give credit, right? You got to give credit to Patrick Graham, to Antonio Pierce for having these guys still play the way they're playing this late in the season with this many free agents all battling, wondering if they're going to be part of this team next year, if they're going to get a shot to even get on the field to do enough to be a part of this team next year. And they're still giving it everything they got. They're still gritty. They're still fight. Yes, they make mistakes, but we're one of the youngest teams in the NFL, and you got to give these coaches credit for having these guys where we are at this deep in the season, having their heads together still in this shit, right? Still wanting to win, still wanting to compete, and still giving it their all. And that, to me, is why Antonio Pierce deserves, in my opinion, at least one more year. Yes, one more year. Learn your shit with these coaches. I don't know, take more control. Get whoever the game manager is that they brought in. If he's going with what this guy says, that dude should have been fired with Luke Getsy. They should have just kicked him out of the building. I don't know who it is, but there's been numerous reports that Antonio Pierce has somebody in his ear telling him when to go for it, what the stats are, what the situations are. And so far, that has not worked for the Las Vegas Raiders or this coaching staff. So maybe they switched that shit up. I don't know. What else? I'll read all these before I disappear. When AP came in last year, we played with Tart. I was so looking forward to this year, beyond disappointing. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm right there with you, but also you have to look at the fact that we don't know. We don't know if AP was going to bat for Aiden O'Connell saying, "This is my guy." We don't know if, Tom Telesco was saying, "No, I paid Gardner Minshew this much money. He's starting." We don't know. We don't know what was going on in the building, what the talks were, who wanted who. But we do know that whoever decided to start Gardner Minshew over Aiden O'Connell was a damn fool, and so were all the people that jumped on the bandwagon and thought that Gardner Minshew was going to be better than Aiden O'Connell. I'm just saying, it's just it's funny, dude. It's crazy how people could just jump on a bandwagon, because when Aiden O'Connell was winning games and we were winning games, it was great, and everybody couldn't wait to draft a quarterback and see where the future was next year. And then all of a sudden they get Gardner Minshew, and it's like, oh well, let's go with Gardner Minshew because we paid him all this money. And they're going to do the same shit. Watch. Do the same shit. We're going to draft the quarterback everybody wants. And if, I'm not saying he is, but if the man turns out to not be that guy and another Jamarcus Russell and just can't grasp the NFL and the NFL defenses and shit, they're all going to say the same thing. Oh, well, we didn't get the quarterback we wanted, or we should have got a better coach, or it's always somebody else's fault. Brian DeBall gets fired from the Giants, I'm sure. That's the offensive coordinator. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it. He's definitely, I don't know. That I really have to question. The fact that, you have a Malik Neighbors on your team and you wait till you're down by 30 points in the third quarter to put the man in for the first play. I don't know. I don't know if there's something between him and the kid, but you drafted the rookie, and I don't know if he's trying to make a statement or what. But his offense is decent. But right now, I mean, I kind of like Scott Turner's offense. But are they going to let Scott Turner create his own offense if they keep him around? Or are they going to let him, still run with this offense? I don't know. There's a lot of things, but yeah, Brian DeBall is definitely somebody you got to look at as an offensive coordinator. I mean, I wouldn't bring him in as head coach. I don't think. Just look at what he's done with the Giants, and there is talent over there. It's not like a horrible team, but I mean, just look what they did with Saquon. That's enough to get anybody fired. Young wide receiver in free agency. Trey Higgins, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I would never do anything without telling you why. Fucking murder that dog. But the fact that he's gonna want too much money, and the big reason I will tell you here in a minute after I tell you, he's probably gonna want 30, $40 million up in that price range. Devontae Adams type money. Now, is he a Devontae Adams type player? Maybe. Maybe not. He's not of my shit. T. Higgins is up there, but I don't think he's worth that money. And it's just the fact that he's injury prone and he can't stay healthy. And you can't pay a guy that much money and hope he's going to be healthy. You know what I mean? Now, if we could get him for 20 mil, then you might have to, but still, he's not going to play for a team, I don't think, for under $20 million. And for that reason, I'm going to have to say no. But if we can get him in free agency for a decent price, get him to come play here for under 20 mil, then I'm all in. But anything over than that, I gotta say no, because it's way too much money to hope he's gonna be healthy and stay healthy. But he's definitely I mean, one of the best. He's gonna be one of the best receivers in free agency. Gotta roll. Take it easy, nation. Thanks, Raider Rebel. Chef, appreciate you, my guy. Make sure you pull up tomorrow if you would. I gotta get off here anyways. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate y'all. Remember, God got you. Much love. What do you about the LSU quarterback? I like Nunemeyer. I think he's very athletic. He makes plays with his legs. We will break all that down tomorrow. Pull up tomorrow. What time? Probably 6 o'clock. Between 6 or 7. I don't know. I'll try to get the thumbnail up tonight. I'm very, very slow on that shit. I'm always busy, but I will get it up. I appreciate you pulling up, Jackie, Lawrence, Chef, Rick, Cowtown, as always. Chef, I already said you, and anybody else who pulled up who I missed, who was watching, who didn't say anything. I appreciate y'all. Much love. Tomorrow we will break down all the quarterbacks, top 15 or 20. It just depends on how long it takes, but I will have 20 ready. As always, Raiders just win, baby. We out. Peace.